Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Paula Degnan. Another winter storm on the way. We will have more details coming up in this newscast. Last night, Hazleton City Council approved a tax hike and hired 5 new police officers. WYLN's Gary Perna has more from last night's meeting.
With a vote of 3-2, Hazleton finally has a budget for 2018. One that does call for a 29.7% property tax increase. This is the first increase since 2013. The $10.4 million budget passed with Council President Robert Gavio, Tony Colombo, and Jim Perry voting yes. Council Vice President Allison Barletta and Gene Mope voted no. Gavio said something had to be done to start getting Hazleton out of a financial hole.
Well, I think it's exactly, let's be honest, nobody wanted, including me. If you know, since I've been on council, the first year I wanted to go with the $9 property, remember? Last year I wanted a 10% increase, hoping to avoid taking a $850,000 loan. All these loans we have to pay back. So I really don't want to kill people. It's a 29% tax increase. Hopefully Pell comes in. Because like I said before, I really think that inactivity would have caused a much higher tax rates for our people later on. I'm hoping this is it.
With the increase in taxes, an owner of a $100,000 property will pay about $451 in city property taxes. That's an increase of just over $130. From the beginning of the budget process, Gavio said he would not agree to sell or lease any of the city's assets like the Water or Sewer Authority. So, to balance the budget, taxes had to go up.
I know a lot of it didn't include sale of water and sewer. I think it's a big mistake. I think this tax raise, I wish it was lower and low we could go. I think, like I said last time, it will dwarf what your race would be should we sell off all our assets to a private company, and hopefully this is it.
With the budget in place, Mayor Jeff Cassat said he hopes to have the tax bills printed and mailed by the end of this week, so the city can start receiving some tax revenue. Council also voted Monday night to hire 5 more police officers to bring the force up to 42 full-time police officers. The hires are Millie Romamos, Alex Hernandez, Jonathan Leonard, Christopher Zubris, and Ryan Molinaro. The 5 are the first officers to be hired under a memorandum of understanding that was voted on by council just before the officers were hired. The agreement ends arbitration between the police union and the city over pay. It now sets the starting pay for a new officer at 70% of a $65,511.70 full base salary.
I think it's actually wonderful news. With their agreement now, it's actually going to be a 7-tier. So it's going to take them 7 years to make up to their 100% base pay, which is going to save the city lots of money in the long run. And now we finally are all in agreement. We could all work together with 5 new police officers on the street. It's better for our residents.
Finally, council made a number of appointments to boards, but not to the Hazleton City Authority. They were pulled at the last minute, sparking a heated conversation between the mayor and council.
We did take them off the table again tonight since there was a conflict with one of the voting, just to get another legal opinion and contact the ethics board.
Councilwoman Allison Barletta recommended that council consider advertising for the positions and holding interviews.
I believe it's very important. I would like to see it advertised because there's people out here that don't know these boards exist. I'd like them to come forward, put their application in, put a resume in. Let's see who's the most qualified. I don't want it just to be a political game. I want them to be advertised, interviewed, and let's see who the best qualified candidate is.
Council took no action on Barletta's recommendation at last night's meeting. In Hazleton, for WYLN News, I'm Gary Perna.
Thank you, Gary. There were no serious injuries reported when a train struck a car in Hazel Township. State Police Hazleton investigating say it was just about 4:30 yesterday afternoon when the train approached the intersection with South Church Street. A vehicle driven by Rosa Ramos of Hazleton failed to stop at the crossing. The train struck the vehicle's passenger side. A 9-year-old in the vehicle was taken for treatment. Crews from Hazel Township Fire, along with McAdoo EMS and APTS, assisted state police at the scene. A Plains Township man who allegedly threw Molotov cocktails into the Luzerne County Children and Youth Services building last March is said to have a prior history of threatening caseworkers. 48-year-old Philip Finn Jr. lost custody of his daughter in 2008 and since then was alleged to have made repeated threats against caseworkers even before the firebombing. He's facing federal charges of stalking, causing malicious damage to property by fire, and making threatening interstate communications. Prosecutors say they intend to show jurors a list of previous threatening behaviors. Finn is currently awaiting trial and remains locked up in the Luzerne County Prison. A person claiming to be a concerned parent sent an email containing a semi-nude picture of an elementary school teacher to the Wilkes-Barre Area School Administration, and now a criminal investigation is underway. The teacher claims that picture was a selfie that she took last summer and sent to her husband. She said that she didn't think he shared the photo and that his cell phone may have been hacked. She told police that she has been getting anonymous calls and emails from a Gmail account since last November. An order was signed yesterday by a Luzerne County judge to have Google release the identity of the user or users of the email address. Google must also turn over internet access logs pertaining to the email address. Governor Tom Wolf announcing his budget plan for 2018-19 that starts July 1st today in Harrisburg. It will be another battle for the Democratic governor with the Republican lawmakers. Wolf imposing a Marcellus Shale natural gas tax and increasing the minimum wage. His budget will rely on the gas tax and savings in human services programs from increasing the minimum wage to boost spending in public schools, pension obligations, prison costs, and social services for children, the elderly, and disabled. Republicans addressing the budget included Representative Jerry Knowles, who said the budget is not a wish list. He was hoping the governor would have included property tax elimination, but sadly that didn't happen. Representative Tara Toohill appreciated the early learning programs, but was disappointed there was no investment in Pennsylvania's community colleges. Budget hearings begin February 20th. With the impending snowstorm, many communities have placed their snow bans in effect. McAdoo's snow ban in effect 4 a.m. Wednesday till noon Thursday. Parking is allowed on the odd side of the street only unless designated otherwise. There is no parking at all in the alleys. Along with the snow ban, there will be no parking allowed along the entire length of Kennedy Drive and Blaine Street per the McAdoo Police Department. The no parking will be in effect until the signs are removed. Mahanoy City snow ban in effect starting at midnight until further notice. No parking on Center, Main, West, South, and Liberty Hill. Shenandoah has declared a state of emergency from 2 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wednesday. All vehicles must be moved from Main Street, Route 924, from Washington to Laurel Streets, and Center Street, Route 54, from White to West Streets during that time period. Weatherly snow ban in effect at 8 o'clock tonight. Cunningham Borough's snow ban is in effect for tomorrow as well. So is West Hazelton Borough. Coming up on WYLN News, here it comes, more snow and ice. WYLN's Julie Stefanovich searches out an expert with safe shoveling tips, plus reworking a project that came in a bit over budget. But first, let's take a look at our forecast. A winter storm warning in effect most places from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. tomorrow. It's expected to start as all snow early, some heavy snow at times till noon. Then it depends on where you are and the track of the storm. Now, some areas may continue as snow. That will increase accumulations, where others may turn to rain with icing conditions. No matter what, travel will be hazardous driving, and conditions also limited visibility. We'll be right back.
Tom Wolf's never-ending tax hikes have hurt Pennsylvanians. Wolf's record on jobs, a disgrace. I've spent my life signing the front of paychecks. Companies create jobs, not politicians. And we'll create more paychecks by cutting big government. My plan eliminates the property tax, cuts wasteful spending, and makes government accountable to us instead of the Harrisburg insiders.
Tough, businessman, conservative. Scott Wagner for governor.
S.J. Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
E&R Cycle, located on South Route 309, is now your Textron Off-Road side-by-side ATV dealer. Textron Off-Road is proud of their past and driven by the future to give you the best off-road ATV with power and performance. You can build and price your vehicle. Choose from the basic Stampede to Stampede 4X or the side-by-side Wildcat Trail to the Sport or LTD model. No matter which one you choose, you'll have an ATV that will get the job done. Stop in or call E&R Cycle at 570-455-7430.
With another winter storm on the way, many of us need to stay safe and healthy while trying to get out and about. So we spoke with Dr. Stacy Sando of Degenhart Chiropractic about back health during the winter months. And our Julie Stefanovich has the details.
No sooner than the snow melts, it always seems to come back with a vengeance. We're now in the midst of winter, and the forecast keeps calling for more white stuff and icy conditions. The inclement weather keeps chiropractors especially busy this time of year, including Dr. Stacy Sando and Dr. John Degenhart of Degenhart Chiropractic in Hazleton. They see an influx of patients with injuries related to shoveling and falls. We spoke with Dr. Stacy, who has advice for those who must go out and brave the harsh weather.
I usually tell my patients that if they have to shovel or if they have to clear off their cars, make sure you're dressed appropriately for the weather. Be hydrated before you go out. Don't just wake up and run out and decide that you're going to shovel off your car or shovel out your driveway, because that is when most injuries do happen. Early in the morning when you go out and you try and shovel real quick, it's that real quick shovel and then you end up leaving work to come in. So definitely you want to be hydrated. You want to be dressed well for the weather, and even if you have 5 extra minutes, do a little bit of stretching or moving around before you get out there.
There are a few techniques and steps to follow to help prevent injuries from clearing snow.
Take 15-minute breaks in between every so many feet. And also, the best type of shovel to use is usually one that has a little bit of a bent handle and that's lighter. Remember, snow gets heavy, so a full shovel of snow could be up to 65 pounds. If you're lifting that for 2 hours while you're out shoveling, you are going to be sore or have a backache after. So it's important to remember lighter shovel, lighter loads on the shovel, and also you want to bend with your knees and keep your back nice and straight when you go to lift that snow. And of course, anything that you could push first.
For many, ice and falls are a major concern.
They do sell yak tracks that you can put on your feet on top of your shoes that you can wear out if you have to go out in like an icier day when the weather is not so nice. I recommend actually keeping a little baggie of rock salt in your pocket, or ice melt in your pocket, or some ashes if you have ashes. Just put it in a little baggie, and when you go to get out of your car, throw some, because a lot of people do fall getting out of their cars. They don't realize it's slippy. They fall getting into their cars. So if you just sprinkle it where you walk, sometimes it's a little bit safer if you have that much of a fear of falling.
If you do sustain an injury, there are several therapies to ease strains and sprains.
And we do apply therapy to that area if they need some type of electrical stimulation therapy to help relax the muscles before we do an adjustment, or maybe some ultrasound therapy to help reduce any inflammation if the sprain strain is that severe.
So if you find yourself a victim of old man winter's mayhem or just want to maintain a healthy body year-round, you can call Degenhart Chiropractic at 570-454-2474 or visit them at DegenhartChiro.com. In Hazleton, for WYLN News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
Thank you, Julie. I'd rather just use a snowblower or a snow thrower or a flamethrower. That might even be better. Penn State Hazleton has been awarded a 3-year, $150,000 grant. The funding comes from the university's Commonwealth Campus Seed Funding Program and will be used for the Hazleton Innovation Collaborative. The Hazleton campus will receive $50,000 per year and will collaborate with Can Do, Can Be, and the Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress. Penn State University Hazleton and DHAP have been working hand in hand to create an educational center at 1315 West Broad Street for Penn State's entrepreneurial programs. A project to remodel the basement-level entrance of the Luzerne County Courthouse is on hold. That after bids came in at more than double the amount budgeted for the work. County Council approved using $50,000 from the county's capital improvement plan to pay for the project, designed to both improve security and reduce congestion at the courthouse's west entrance. The lowest bid for each came in at more than $50,000, which would make the project cost more than what was budgeted. No word if the county will rebid or cut something from that project. Coming up on Weatherly's News Choice, a history story 200 years in the making in Community and You, plus basketball tonight. But first, let's take a look at today's winning midday lottery numbers. Good luck if you played. Stay with us.
Physical Therapy and Balance Centers. It's spelled different because we are different. Physical is unlike any therapy center you've been to before. If you're tired of living in pain, if you want to move better, overcome an injury or balance disorder, or you just want to improve your strength and conditioning, our highly skilled team of medical experts will help you get back to living the life you enjoy. New mentality, new body, new life. Get physical.
This is what it can feel like when you outgrow your internet speed. Chances are you have more internet-connected devices in your home than you did a year ago. Switch to Service Electric Cablevision Internet for the right fit for all your devices. SECV delivers the speed and reliability you need with no contract required. Call 877-955-SECV or visit secv.com/internet.
Wyln, everyone. I'm Gary Perna. I'm very pleased to be joined by two lovely ladies who are going to give us some history of Christ Lutheran Church here in the Cunningham Valley that are celebrating their 200th anniversary. There's a lot going on. So first of all, I'm going to talk to Helen, who is the historian here at the church. And Helen, how did this all get started 200 years ago?
In 1818, they built a log cabin church, and that served as a church until 1872. They built a larger one, and that was destroyed by fire. So the third church was built, and it was combined with the Reformed and Lutheran, a union church. And that served as a church until December 15th of 1872, when the second fire destroyed the church. And then the Lutheran and the Reformed broke apart, and the Reformed built their own church, and we built our own church. And of course, we were over there from 1929 until 1967, when we built this church. And in 1980, we put an expansion, which is this part of the church.
So you guys have been really busy in the valley, being part of another church and breaking away, and having really a long line of history here on Main Street.
On Main Street. Not only that, my family has a long history on it too. My great-great-grandmother was confirmed in 1827, 1 year after the church was built. And then it came down to my grandmother grandmother, my great-grandmother, my grandfather was a deacon. My mother belonged here for 101 years and a half, and I bring up the 5th generation.
Wow, I know. It's so amazing when you can dive into the history of some of the churches in our area and just see how far back some families go in the church. And not only that, but there's a long line of community service and a long line of service to God here at the church.
Right. A long history, 200 years.
Wow. And it's so amazing. And as a historian, was there anything that you saw going back through the books that kind of caught your attention? You're like, wow, I didn't know that.
Well, my grandmother and my mother was great on saving anything from the church. So I have started a book, and I'm putting all of the important affairs. Of course, they only go back to 1910, when my grandfather was a deacon. But from then on, I have over 100 years in that book.
Wow, that's so amazing what goes on. And Pastor Carolyn joins us, and you're relatively new to the church, coming here in 2015. So learning about the history of the church that you're serving in now, kind of to you, how does it feel, and what does it make you think about everything that's gone on here?
Well, it's a rich history that the congregation has. Not only are they incredibly persistent in their faith, when you think about churches that burned down and they found the ability to rebuild one time on the eve of the Depression in this country, which is really amazing. The sense of community, but also their sense of caring for people beyond these doors and around the world. And more recently, within the last couple of years, in addition to all of our regular giving, we've given away $100,000 to benefit disaster relief and World Hunger Appeal. This congregation in a tiny town touches lives around the world. It's an amazing history.
I was just going to say, you know, when you think of Cunningham's kind of the smallest little part here in the valley, but your congregation is so large and is always willing to do so much.
Absolutely, and not only in the events that we have coming up in the next couple of months, but throughout our entire anniversary year. Every month there will be events that benefit both the community and the world, as well as our own congregation. We've got a fun run, we've got a golf tournament coming up later in the summer, so it's a chance to get out and benefit a lot of the things like our local food pantries.
And I know, as a pastor, seeing your congregation flourish and the great abilities that are going on here, especially when we've heard so many times of church closings and merging and things like that, to see this congregation strive, and you know, how lucky are you to be here with them?
It's amazing, and this congregation also has a wonderful sense of joy and fun. And I think when I first came to interview and to be here, immediately I noticed that sense of energy and joy in living faithful lives. I think that people are drawn to that, and it's the message of the gospel.
Wonderful. Well, there's a lot going on here. Not only a rich history, but there is a lot to come here in the next 200 years as everyone prepares for that, as we celebrate 200 years of Christ Lutheran Church here in Cunningham. Thanks for joining us here on Community New, everyone. We'll see you next time.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
Chur's Auto Sales has been serving the area with quality vehicles since 1954. Chur's Auto Sales is known as your friendly dealer and now in their 4th generation, and voted the best used car dealer by the readers of Standard Speaker Choice Awards. John Chur would like to thank everyone that voted for his business. When you need a quality pre-owned vehicle, choose from a large selection at Chur's, 570-454-7229.
ETA Benefits is a full-service independent insurance agency and employee benefits advisory firm, proud to serve Northeastern and Central Pennsylvania since 1999. Call 570-669-5050 or go online to etabenefits.com.
Valmont Auto Sales. Buy here, pay here with a good selection of clean pre-owned vehicles. Use your tax return and make small weekly payments to fit your budget. Valmont Auto Sales, 34 Susquehanna Boulevard, West Hazleton, 570-501-2626.
Lady Comets for a Cure was hosted by Crestwood High School for its 4th year in a row. Julia Wiegand has the details.
Crestwood High School held their 4th annual Lady Comets for a Cure between their women's JV and varsity games against Dallas last night.
Our players really have a lot to do with how successful it is. So we've sold t-shirts, we have basket raffles, we have 50-50 raffles, we have a bake sale, we have our concession stand. So anytime we're done with all the organizational stuff, we set time aside, count money, and then we present a check to our Think Pink charity.
The event celebrated cancer fighters and survivors in memory of Danielle Kavanaugh of Mountaintop, who lost her battle. Danielle had 2 daughters, both a part of Crestwood High School. The Lady Comets Basketball Booster Club, along with the team and community, came together to raise money for their charity of choice, this year's being the Think Pink Foundation.
So it's very meaningful, and they do give to local families and help support people with cancer and survivors that are going through some trying times. So it's very important to us that it's part of our community.
Survivor Donnie Hopkins was diagnosed at 17 years old, but has celebrated his success for 4 years now.
When I was 17 years old, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. 2 days later, I had surgery to remove it, and then I get checkups yearly, just to MRI, just to see how everything is.
His sister has accompanied him all the way through.
My sister started when she was a freshman up to her senior year, so it's nice every year just getting to be out there with her and just to celebrate.
Crestwood will host their 10th annual charity basketball tournament, Hoops for Hope, to raise funds for the American Cancer Society on Tuesday, March 6th. Be sure to mark your calendars. Reporting from Mountaintop for WYLN News, I'm Julia Wiegand.
Thank you, Julia. Tonight, the WYLN sports crew is on the road to Mahanoy City for the game as the Marion Catholic Phillies face off against the Mahanoy Area Lady Bears. Tonight's game starts at 7 at Mahanoy Area High School. You can join Marty Burns and Joe DeMelfi for the play-by-play as the rivalry between the Bears and Phillies continues. Again, tonight's game on your TV screen at 7 o'clock right here on WYLN TV. Now stay with us. A look at today's weather is next here on WYLN News.
Northeast Gold and Silver inside the Churchill Mall is paying cash for gold and silver. Top dollar for silver coins. National currency. Fine and sterling flatware. Stop in or call them at 570-497-4177.
You've seen university advertising. A student like me pitching you the same old ideas. But I'm not gonna do that.
Instead, I'm gonna tell you what you can do with a Penn State degree. You can help anyone. Go anywhere. Create! And with 20 campuses to choose from, you'll always feel at home.
Look, Penn State is amazing, but your best years are just beginning. Come find out for yourself.
For creative cuisine and handcrafted cocktails, visit Four Blooms in Drums.